Picture this. You're out with friends. Everyone's laughing, the room's buzzing. Your phone keeps lighting up. On paper, you're surrounded. But inside, it's like there's a wall between you and everyone else. You're there, but it doesn't feel like you really are. And honestly, how do you even say, "I feel lonely," when you're literally sitting right next to people? This video is called "Why You Feel Lonely Even When You're With Friends." And if that title made you stop scrolling, that's not a coincidence. Because the thumbnail says, "Isolated with friends." Sit with those two words for a second. Isolated with friends. They shouldn't go together. But for a lot of people, they do. Every weekend, every group chat, every event they said yes to even when they really wanted to say no. This isn't about being antisocial. It's not about not liking your friends. It's about something much deeper going on inside your psychology. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what it is and why almost nobody talks about it. Be honest. Has this ever happened to you? You're surrounded by people, but it feels like nobody really gets you. You laugh along, but inside, you just feel empty. Or maybe you leave a night out feeling more drained than you arrived, even though nothing bad happened. If any of that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. There's actually a name for it, and it's way more common than you'd think. Seriously, if this is hitting close to home, let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and you're not the only one feeling this way. Here's the thing most people get wrong about loneliness. It's not about how many people are around you. It never has been. Dr. John Cacioppo, who spent decades researching this at the University of Chicago, found that loneliness is really about the gap between the connection you have and the connection you actually need. Not the absence of people, the absence of feeling connected to them. You could be at a table with 10 friends, but if none of them actually know what's going on with you right now, your brain still registers that as loneliness. And here's the part that really gets me. Cacioppo's research showed that your brain reacts to loneliness almost the same way it reacts to physical pain. Same neural pathways, same stress response. So if you've ever felt off in a group of people, you weren't being dramatic. Your brain was genuinely sending you a signal. Now, here's where it gets a bit uncomfortable. Most adult friendships, especially in your 20s and 30s, are built on shared activity, not shared depth. You hang out, watch a game or a match, go to a bar or pub. You talk about work, relationships, maybe some gossip. And it feels like connection. But is it really? Dr. Robin Dunbar, the psychologist behind Dunbar's number, found that most people only have about 3 to 5 people in their inner circle who actually know them at a deep level. Everyone else? They're what he calls your sympathy group. People you enjoy, but people who don't really know your fears, your failures, what keeps you up at night. And modern life sets a trap for us here. Social media, group chats, constant surface-level interaction. It all tricks your brain into thinking you're more connected than you are. You have 400 followers, a group chat with 22 people. You went to 3 things last month. But depth? Real vulnerability? That's rare. And your nervous system knows it, even when your mind is trying to stay distracted. This is the part nobody wants to admit. When you're with your friends, how much of you is actually showing up? Not the funny version, not the "I'm fine" version, not the one who laughs on cue and says "same here" to keep things moving. The actual you. There's a psychological concept called self-concealment, studied extensively by Dr. James Pennebrake at the University of Texas. It's the tendency to hide negative or personally distressing things from others. And his research found that people who do this heavily, even around close friends, report significantly higher levels of loneliness, anxiety, and even illness. Think about that. You go out, you put on a front, You show up as the version that keeps everything comfortable, and you come home feeling hollow because you were never really there to begin with. And here's the brutal part. Your friends might be doing the exact same thing. So you've got a whole room of people performing for each other, all going home lonely, and nobody saying a word about it. So, what does real connection actually look like? Researchers call it felt understanding, the feeling that someone doesn't just hear you, but actually gets you, your context, your history, the way you think. A 2018 study in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found something striking. People feel significantly less lonely not when they spend more time with others, but when they feel understood by even just one person. One person. Not a party, not a group trip. One person who makes you feel like you don't have to explain yourself. This is why some people can feel completely at peace being alone, while others feel desperately lonely in a crowd. It's not about quantity. It's about that feeling of, this person actually sees me. So, let's get real for a second. If you've been feeling this weird sense of isolation, even when you're surrounded by people, here's what I want you to keep in mind. First, don't blame yourself. Seriously, this isn't a flaw in you. In 2023, the US Surgeon General even called loneliness a public health crisis. So if you're feeling this way, you're definitely not alone. I felt it too, more times than I can count. Second, when was the last time you had a conversation where you said something real? Not just what's easy to share, not the polished version you show everyone. Something honest about what you're actually going through. Because you can't connect through a mask, no matter how many people are around. And third, this isn't about collecting more friends. It's about going deeper with the ones you already have. Sometimes just one real conversation can change everything. Feeling lonely in a crowd is one of the quietest forms of pain because it comes with built-in shame. I have friends, I should be fine. But now you know. It's not about who's in the room, it's about whether you're actually there with them. If this hit home or made you think of someone, send it their way. Sometimes just saying, "Hey, I get it," can make a huge difference. Really appreciate you being here with me. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.